Well, first of all, thank you for joining us today. Tim Weishire, broker owner of both Dream Builders Realty and DBR Commercial right here in Central Florida. And today I'm joined by Kerry Scott, a personal friend of mine and also one of my financial advisors with Edward Jones and St. Cloud. So Kerry, first of all, thanks for being with me today. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for your friendship and for your advice over the years. I want to have a conversation with you today. So many people understand that, yes, as a real estate broker, you're going to hear me say, invest in real estate. It's a smart place to put your money. And that is true, 100%. But there's also another side of this, which is we both believe in the importance of being intentional about telling your money where to go and knowing how you want to diversify that and how to maybe even enter the market. Sometimes people say, Tim, well, I can't buy a home. I don't have enough money. That may not be true. Likewise, people say, Kerry, I'd like to be invested in the market, but I don't have enough money. And that's also not true. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So as we tee the conversation up today, let's maybe start on the conversation about diversification. Real estate, yes, but the market as well. When I say the market, we're talking stocks and bonds and mutual funds. So talk about your theory around diversification and what you'd maybe encourage people with today.
Well, thank you for the time. Yeah, I do believe in diversification into different, what I call buckets, representing different asset classes. And you just mentioned two of them, real estate investment, traditional investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, being some of those types of investments that offer long-term benefit to both our future and retirement purposes as well.
Sure.
So, that being said, traditional investments have historically averaged maybe 7-8% long-term. Real estate, even though there's a lot of hype in the real estate market currently, long-term, that investment's been more like 4 or 5% on a long-term rate of return. So different buckets offer different benefits, and real estate offers traditional income for those in retirement. Traditional investments offer more growth and longer-term benefit in that regard.
Yeah, and there's also a difference too. Real estate you get to use, right? If it's your primary residence, so you're earning 4, 5, 6%, whatever it may be per year. But you're also enjoying the use of that, where a mutual fund or a stock, you're not. It's in the ether. You don't see it. You don't get to touch it and live in it, but it's also outperforming traditionally what real estate would on your returns. Let's take this for a second. And I know you hear this all the time. People think that in order to invest in the market, your market, the investment market, stocks, bonds, portfolio, whatever it may be, they have to be rich. They have to have a ton of money. Not true.
That's exactly right. We have a term called systematic investing or dollar cost averaging, which is a very important principle in long-term investing, because you're taking maybe a very small amount of money and then over a long period of time investing it in the market for an average rate of return that's higher, because you're investing when the market's not only lower, but as it increases and achieves new highs over time. And it's a very important concept for especially younger investors to buy into. Sure. And also the fact that when the market lowers, not to be afraid of that, to actually feel as though, I like to use the term, it's like going to Kohl's on sale. So, it's just a very important concept that we learn that when people invest when the market's lower, we're also achieving long-term higher returns as a result of them buying at lower margins.
Yeah, and so let's maybe break those up for just a moment. So the first one we talk about systematic investing. Let me put it another way. It's you being intentional about saying every week I'm just going to put $25, $100, $200, whatever it is into the market, and I'm going to set that up systematically so I don't have to think about it. Before I even spend my first dollar, I'm telling my dollars where I want it to go. And in this case, you're going to connect with Kerry. He's going to set up an account for you, and every single paycheck, every 2 weeks, every month, whatever it is, you have a certain amount of money going in there. There's this thing that I learned about, honestly, when I was like 17, 18 years old, called the power of compound interest.
Right.
And when I saw that you can take, $20 today, $200 today, and just systematically invest it and watch it grow over time and watch it compound on top of itself, how you can take what really is a very small amount of money and watch it grow over an extended period of time. And that, to your point, is the power of systematic investing, because, today you may buy something at the top of the market, but tomorrow you may buy it at the bottom of the market. And when you cost average that over time, you realize, look, I really didn't overpay or underpay, but I got a good average as a whole of how I was investing.
Exactly right.
So that's key. And I know that you're a big believer in that. And that's how you've helped so many individuals, young, middle age, and old, achieve a certain degree of financial independence.
Exactly right. And when I look at my best clients, and by best clients, I mean those that have really stayed the course and been patient. It's those that have believed in dollar cost averaging or systematic investing, and also taking the opportunity to be very patient with the market over a long period of time.
Yeah, and the key to that, guys, is staying calm, right? So, and this is going to be a great segue into the next thing, market volatility. That's what everyone's thinking about right now is with everything that's happening in the economy, with inflation, with rising interest rates, with the stock market pulling back. A lot of times people will think, well, I'm scared. I don't want to go in the market right now. And to your point earlier about the Coles sale, so to speak, this may be the exact time you want to be going into the market because you could be buying whatever. And think about a mutual fund, by the way. It's all these individual stocks put together into a portfolio. Simplest way I would say it in layman's terms. But as these stocks are on sale, you may be able to buy in at a lower rate and take that benefit over time. So talk about market volatility and the importance of not pulling away from the stock market while it's in a decline, because again, you're just basically buying on sale and going to make that money up in the long run.
Exactly right. And studies show dramatically that those that stay patient, stay invested, stay diversified are those that win over the long term. So
as said, Carrie oversees some of my money, and Carrie, I trust you, so I'm going to ask you: would you tell people today to invest in the stock market?
I agree. Yes, I agree. They should be investing, and the reason for that is not to fear the low points in the market. Historically, when you look back, the market's going to pull back on an average of annually, maybe on a 10% basis, but long term, it's going to pull back 20 to 30% every 5, 6, 7 years. We're experiencing some of that. And those investors from 2008 remember sort of that pullback in terms of how it affected their returns. But longer term, if they stayed invested over the next 12, 18, 24 months, they found themselves on the other side and actually in a growth market again.
Yeah.
And it'll happen.
Yeah, it will. And that's the key is that we're going to wrap up here, but this is where so many people, they see like the ebb and flow of the economy, the expansion, the contraction.
That's right.
And they go, well, maybe I should wait. Maybe I should do this. But the cost averaging that you spoke about, or I would speak about when it comes to buying a home, you have to take a step back and look at the long term and the horizon. And by the way, we haven't touched on this, but this is really important. This is why you need to reach out to Carrie and have a personal conversation. Where you are in life, what stage of life you're in, your age, all of those are very important factors that need to come into play as well. And you may give very different advice to a 70-year-old than you're going to give to a 27-year-old because of risk tolerance, because of income, because of time of life, because of need of use of those dollars. And so I want to encourage you guys, please reach out to Carrie, have a conversation. I know that they can reach out to your office and schedule a consultation. I'll say this, I know we don't get to cover a ton in these videos, but what I want to do is introduce you to two things. Number one, a trusted advisor right here in the Central Florida market that you can lean upon. And number two, the idea that maybe these conversations should be having. You guys know that one of my key goals is to help you achieve financial independence. And yes, I talk a lot about that on the real estate side. What I'm really trying to do is open your eyes to having a really diversified portfolio so that in 10, 20, 30, 50 years, you can look back and say, I've made the right decisions. I've been blessed to have people like you in my life that help me make the right decisions, and I want to bring that conversation together for you. So let's wrap up by saying thank you. I appreciate your friendship, your advice, your counsel. I appreciate your willingness to be here today. And guys, if you need any information at all, again, Carrie Scott. I always want to say Carrie. I always mess that up. She has so many names. It's Carrie Scott, Edward Jones. Names, it's like, which is it? But reach out to Carrie at Edward Jones in St. Cloud. I know he'd be happy to speak with you. And then, of course, if you have any real estate questions, you want to understand what's happening in the real estate market, reach out to me anytime. I'm always going to serve as that trusted advisor for you. So thank you. We'll talk to you guys soon.